Hello everyone, today I'm doing a video on a recent Steam Fest that just concluded, the Steam Typing Fest that ran from February 5th to the 9th. I don't often see a lot of typing games in my feed, so I thought I'd give this fest a go and try as many demos as I could. In fact, I played quite a few, but decided I'll just list my top 5 favorites from this fest for anyone else who's looking for some fun typing action to dive into. So let's start with my pick that's sliding into number 5. Glyphica is a word-typing roguelike game, akin to Vampire Survivors, only your character stays in the center screen and it's your weapons that move for you. There are multiple upgrade trees and weapons to choose from, with items that can be used when things get hairy, and various color schemes to enjoy and ease some eye strain. The demo only has Endless Mode available and only one default weapon, but it was enough to get the idea behind the game and what to expect in the full game. The game's fun and chaotic, with a rather simple design choice that I actually enjoyed for the most part, although it did make it difficult to determine what weapon of mine was what, but after a few runs you eventually start to recognize them. My only gripe is that it can be difficult to read the words when enemies start to overlap each other, but this mainly became a problem when they got too close to your center weapon. In which case, this wouldn't have mattered so much if you killed them a lot sooner, so, you know, get good. Not much more to say beyond that. If you're looking for a simple typing roguelike, then Glyphica is great. There's a lot of polish and fun to be had. For me personally though, I think the $13 Canadian price tag is a bit much for what you're going to get, as I assume the full game is just more of the same, albeit slightly different levels because of bosses. It's fun, but it might be more worth it at a sale price. Typecaster is an action RPG where you have to type the spells you want to cast in order to defeat your enemies or solve puzzles. You climb up a tower with the main goal of meeting the Grand Wizard at the top. Maybe don't call him a Grand Wizard, but evil was still lurking in the shadows, waiting for the day they could return to power. Really don't call him a Grand Wizard. You essentially go screen to screen fighting enemies or solving puzzles, but there isn't too much depth to either of these aspects. Enemies have strengths and weaknesses that you can exploit, which lets you do more damage, but they don't have that much health to begin with anyway. Enemies also give you plenty of time in between their attacks to let you type your spells, which means they end up standing around doing a lot of nothing a lot of the time. Boss battles are trickier, but aren't much different than any other action RPG, where you'll just want to learn their attack patterns and move accordingly. It quickly becomes a rinse and repeat until the boss is dead, and considering the bosses only have 1 or 2 attacks, it can lead to a pretty dull experience. That being said, the art style is really cute, and the game doesn't take itself too seriously. There are items to buy and a lot of spells to unlock, so there's definitely a good time to be had here, as long as you don't expect anything too difficult. I do wonder if the developers should maybe lean this game towards a younger audience, though, as the slower pace of battles are perfect for a beginner, but will likely start to feel like a slog to seasoned players. If they go the younger route though, then they might want to remove the swearing. Other than that, this is a great game, as long as you don't expect it to challenge your brain too much. It's a really fun but casual time. Zombie typing is a typing shooter game where you need to fend off zombies, go figure, and find items to progress the level and eventually escape. The demo was extremely short, could easily be completed in about 2 minutes if you know what you're doing, so it's hard to really give too much description here. The combat is really fun. There are basic, slow zombies, fast zombies that should take priority, and boss zombies that require multiple hits to be taken down. You have to reload between zombies, but it appears that you have infinite ammo, so at least you don't have to worry about running out. You also get some boards at one point, which I can only assume is to create barricades, but I didn't see any reason or option to use them in the demo. While my experience here was short, it was really fun. Text is large and easy to read, which is great for old farts like me. There were various items to loot, although I didn't need to use most of them. but I'm sure it'll be much more important in the full game. And it was really easy to tell when you ran out of ammo or spelled something wrong. There's been a lot of care put into this one. From my small amount of time here, I had fun, and considering that I wish the demo was longer, that must mean something. I would definitely recommend this when it releases. And honestly, it would be higher on the list if the demo was a little bit longer. Blood Typers is a horror survival game where you must survive the onslaught of monsters while trying to find a way out. There are 4 characters you can choose from, which is great for a demo, but I only played the one, Vivi. I don't doubt that they're all viable though. The demo also only has 1 level available, so my review is based on that, the movie theater set. So it's not told to you, but you do eventually realize that you need to find 5 red tapes in order to win the level. In order to find all the tapes, you also need to find the blue and gold keys to open the correct doors. While you're searching for these, you can also find planks, which can be used to barricade doors. You have to figure this out on your own though. The game doesn't explain any of the items to you. There are multiple weapons available, although I only used 2 because they had the most ammo available. The starting pistol and the Necronomicon. These were more than enough to get through the game with, but there's also a Magnum and a shotgun available as well, and I believe a nail gun of some sort. So you do have options, but the only melee weapon I found was the pipe. There isn't really any puzzles to speak of, you just have to find the right items while surviving any enemies that might spawn. But honestly, it was pretty clear sailing for the most part, which I played on the highest settings available in the demo, which was novice typing and normal difficulty. There are computers scattered throughout the level, which require you to type random sentences before time runs out. I thought this was a pretty cool gimmick. You see your character glancing around nervously as they type, as the camera looks out behind them. This definitely makes you think you're going to be ambushed at any moment. And while you're searching for items, a red orb in the top right corner starts to fill. The game doesn't tell you what this is, but you can probably assume from the icon and the tense music that plays when it gets full. This orb fills up as you move, and fills up even more if you collect certain items with a red glow. You'll want to find a safe place to camp out while the orb is active, but in my playthrough, this event was only dangerous when I didn't know what it was. I ended up getting ambushed. Oh shit, oh shit. It's very easy to work around this otherwise. It does seem to spawn enemies in nearby rooms though, so you have to be careful backtracking after a horde attack. Blood Typers is a fun game with an interesting, albeit scarce, story. There are notes lying around the movie set that help explain some things, but there's clearly still a lot of lore missing. But it doesn't really matter, killing the zombies is the fun part. If you enjoy typing, then you'll find it super satisfying to take down multiple baddies coming at you with the power of words. Especially when the finishing blow is a dildo. Dildos? Nice. I'd like to do an honorable mention of Kind Words, or in this case, Kind Words 2. I was going to do a quick review of this game demo, but honestly, it just felt a bit too personal to record and share, so I decided to forgo it. I mean, I know everyone's anonymous, but it still just felt like people were sharing very personal things, and I just didn't feel right putting it in a video. But I do think it's a wholesome premise, and for my limited time in the demo, it was super sweet. Not only can you just chat to people about what's on your mind, good or bad, but you can also ask for recommendations for things that interest you, like books, TV shows, movies, whatever. Or you can answer other people's requests for recommendations yourself. My experience in the demo was nothing but wholesome, and this game could be a really good outlet for people that are struggling. The internet has brought a lot of people together, sure, but it definitely creates a lonely existence as well. And the older you get, the harder it is to find kind, like-minded people. While you can't befriend anyone in this game, or share socials, or anything like that, because it's all anonymous, you can still feel good knowing that there are people out there who are wishing you the best and can empathize, whether that's a virtual shoulder to cry on, or someone else cheering with you on your successes. I'm glad this game exists for the people that need it, and there seem to be a lot of very genuine, caring people in this game that really do want everyone around them to succeed and be happy, which is incredible in this day and age. So I strongly recommend people give this game a shot.
Great fox. But they were lost. They had always been lost.
Epistory is a typing exploration game where you run around on the back of a fox in order to understand what happened to the world while also understanding more of your past. You type the words of barricades in your way and type words to defeat enemies. The voice acting in this is great, and the story is released to you in little snippets as you run around. I really liked this immersive way of incorporating the story into the world itself, as it also promoted exploration. I wanted to find every story snippet I could.
She felt the woods begin to wake up around her.
Exploring the map was a lot of fun, not just for the story that revealed itself, but because you could also find new abilities that would allow you to explore even further, like eventually being able to burn away the vines that blocked your path.
And revealed new paths all around her.
It's similar to a Metroidvania in that regard, as you want to go back and visit a place that you couldn't reach before. But my favorite aspect is definitely the battles. They can be tough, so you need to use your abilities to your advantage. Like ensuring all the enemies have a burn applied to them while you whittle down the boss, for example. I can only imagine what other strategies you'll need when you learn even more abilities. I found myself actually looking forward to more. There's also an upgrade tree, and it isn't too difficult to unlock these perks. There are fun options like moving faster and sprinting, and they don't take much to max out. But I did like that they're optional, so if movement isn't as big a deal to a player as it is to me, then they don't have to waste their points on this. I thought the tree was really well thought out. There's also collectibles you can find if you explore thoroughly, and they unlock pictures that relate to the story. It's such a fun idea to include this. I wish more games did things like the Bromides and the Lunar series, and this is a close second to that. And huge props to the devs for including so many different language options. I could actually choose British English. None of the other typing games I played had this option, which was frustrating when points and multipliers were on the line. My only real gripe about this game is that the menu screen is hard to read. It's a blue background with blue text. I understand wanting to have some kind of aesthetic here, but blue and white would have sufficed just as well, in my opinion. Honestly, the UI in general could use some work. It's very bare bones with no real life to it at all. It's just basic colors with a basic font. They could have done something much prettier with this, but it's also not a deal breaker. I'm just a sucker for a good UI. So overall, I was really impressed with this game. It's adorable, the typing mechanic is fun, battles are challenging, and there are abilities to unlock to progress into previously inaccessible areas, while also making combat even more interesting. The story slowly unravels as you explore, and collectibles hint at even more story and world building. I honestly really loved this, and I don't love games very often anymore. It's definitely worth picking up. So those are my picks for some standout games in the Steam Typing Fest of 2026. If the demos are anything to go by, which I would hope they are. I love how far typing games have come from the relics of my past. There's some very unique spins on the genre in here. I couldn't play every game in the fest that caught my eye, so if you have any recommendations, please let me know. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on these games too. Anyway, thanks for watching and hope to see you in the next one.